Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. I know I am a little bit inconsistent because I have some tournament upcoming as well, and I am kind of focusing on the sports channel as well. So yeah, I will be more consistent. So let's start. In this video I'm going to show you guys the final round game of Norway Chess between Alireja, Firouja and Richard Rapport. So let's start. Alireja is playing with the white page and he opened up with e4, c5, the Sicilian defense, knight f3, knight c6, the classical variation of the Sicilian, and bishop to b5. This is called the Rosalima attack. So the idea of white is bishop captures c6 and d captures c6, damaging the black pieces structure, black pawn structure. So black plays knight to f6, attacking the central pawn on the e4 square. So knight to c3, defending the pawn, and knight to d4. And now white cannot take the knight and damage the structure, so black want to take the bishop pair advantage. So e5, attacking the knight, knight captures b5, knight captures b5, and knight to d5, and short castle developing and getting his king to the safety. By the way, the theory says knight to g5, f6, and queen f3. Some crazy lines are there, so I'm not going into the lot of theoretical stuffs. So let's see. a6, attacking the knight, and c4, attacking the knight in the center. Knight to b4, defending the knight, getting the knight out of the center, and knight to c3. Alireja does the same, and d6, trying to break the center, and d4, c captures d4, queen captures d4. And all of you guys might be thinking this is a blunder because just knight c2, forking the queen and the rook. But this is Alireja Firouja's plan. He is sacrificing the rook for the initiative, for the huge development advantage. So he is a huge lead in development, and he was to use this by sacrificing a rook in the corner. So knight to c2, queen a4, knight captures a1, and for a brief moment white is down a full rook. But after the bishop moves to f4 or e3, the knight would be lost anyway. So he will be down an exchange, but he has a huge lead in development. So let's see. Alireja Firouja plays bishop to f4. The knight is anyway trapped, so Richard Rapport plays bishop e6, rook captures a1, rook to c8, getting the rook into the half open c5, and knight to d5. Now bishop captures d5 would be a little bit more because of the c captures d5. Let's say bishop captures d5, c captures d5. The pawns are very strong in the center, and that would give white a huge advantage. So Richard Rapport does not take the knight. So in this position, Richard Rapport played the move pawn captures on e5, knight captures e5, and f6, attacking the knight in the center. Knight to f3, retreating the knight and saving it. Bishop captures d5, c captures d5, and rook c5. This is not the best move because according to the engine, e5 is the best move. Then pawn captures on e5, n persons, bishop e7, queen captures b7. But this is a ridiculous variation, and this is very hard to find in the game. Though this is a classical game, but for humans to find and sacrifice two pawns for some initiative giving back the material, it's very hard for the human. So Richard Rapport played the move rook to c5 and d6, trying to open up the e file and attack the king. So queen to d7, b4, attacking the rook to c6, and rook to e1. The e7 pawn is under fire and the king is also under fire. So king f7, getting the king out of the dangerous e file. So knight to d4, attacking the rook on the c6 square, and e5, forking the bishop and the knight. So if you take knight captures c6, pawn captures c6, and move the bishop, then you lose the advantage. The game will be equal. So white has the advantage and the initiative, lead in development initiative. So let's see. Queen to d5 check, king g6. According to the engine, king e8 would be better, and they want to like just sacrifice here. Pawn captures, rook captures. This is also a ridiculous line to see, like here, and the king is safe on the c8 square, and the king is just running. This is also very hard to see. So Richard Rapport does not see this line. Richard Rapport plays the move king to g6, but bishop captures e5. Now if you take this bishop with pawn captures, then just knight to f3, attacking the pawn and try to give a family fork, and this is very dangerous. Because if you take with the bishop, then also knight captures on e5 check, and you have to give up the queen with bishop captures and queen captures d7. And this is a completely winning position for white. If you take with the rook captures d6, then knight e5 check, king h6, because if you go to the dangerous 5th rank. Then just f4 check, king captures f4, queen f3, and this will end up in a checkmate very soon. Like king g5, and the rook is also coming, and the queen is hanging at the very least. In this position, king to h6 is forced, but then knight f7 check, king to g6, knight captures h8 check, king h6, or like king here, then queen f7 would be deadly. So again knight here check, king here, knight captures, and this is a completely winning position for white, because after bishop captures we have rook check, the king moves to anywhere, rook captures, and this is a completely winning position for white. And the last but not the least, queen captures d6, knight e5 check, the king has to come forward, let's say king g5, then f4 check, king captures f4, and the same variation which we have already discussed, queen here check, king here. You can simply play knight to f7 check and pick up the queen, and this is also a completely winning position for white. That's why f captures on e5 is impossible. So rook captures d6, he sacrifices back the exchange. So bishop captures d6, bishop captures d6, and this is though the material is completely equal, but white has a huge advantage because the bishop and the queen is very standard in the center. So queen e4 check, just repeating the position once to gain some clock time. King f7, queen to d5 check, king to g6, and g3. Very important move, because it is never too late to hang your queen, because if you play any other move, let's say a move like h3, or let's say even rook d1, then bishop captures h2, king captures h2, and surprise, queen captures d5, and you lose the queen. You have to be very careful at the end of the game as well. So h6, getting a loop for the king, but it's just too late. Rook to d1, rook to e8, knight f3, attacking the bishop on the d6 square, rook e6, defending it, knight h4 check, king h7, queen d3 check, and in this position Richard Rapport resigned, because let's say he moves his king to anywhere, king g8, king h8, then simply knight f5, and the bishop is lost. And if you move the bishop, there is no way to defend the bishop. If you move this bishop, then simply queen captures d7. This will be a completely winning position for white. And if you don't move the bishop, let's say you play any move, let's say move like king to g8, then simply knight captures on d6, and white is simply a piece up and in a completely winning position. So I believe you guys like this video, then like, share, and don't forget to subscribe to the Chess Orco channel, and give a big thumbs up to give the video some push, and also check out some of my earlier uploads in the playlist below. So goodbye guys.